We have reached the great crossroads. Humanity is awakening. And all of you that have played your part in standing up to the censors, standing up to the bullies, and spreading the word are at the heart of this new renaissance. That's why, for myself and the entire InfoWars crew, I want to salute you all for what you've done in the information war and what you've also done on the streets peacefully. And why I'm asking you now more than ever to redouble your efforts, because victory is within sight.
Welcome back. I'm Roger Stone, and you're at InfoWars, which is the best place to get the real news. This past Friday, Michael Caputo, a friend of mine for much of my adult life, testified before the House Intelligence Committee in their inquiry into Russian collusion into the campaign of Donald Trump, allegedly for the purposes of electing him over Hillary Clinton. I believe the House Intelligence Committee, and particularly Congresswoman Jackie Speier of California, owe Michael Caputo an apology. You see, Michael Caputo had no contacts whatsoever with any Russians, no knowledge of any Russian collusion. His sin seems to be that in the 80s he lived in Russia and that he has a wife who is Ukrainian. This may come as a terrible shock to Maxine Waters, but Russia and Ukraine are two different countries. At the time of his involvement in Russia, Mr. Caputo was actually working for the United States government through the USIA, but in fact involved in a government-sanctioned CIA program to tip the Russian presidential election to Boris Yeltsin. This was, of course, during the Clinton administration. The point, of course, is that we in the United States have clearly interfered in a Russian election. Mr. Caputo, a very able fellow who I first met when he was working for Congressman Jack Kemp, who ultimately he would ably serve as press secretary and communications director, had the high honor of once being a driver at the august firm of Black, Manafort, Stone, and Atwater. He is a proud veteran of the U.S. Army. He is a superb writer and editor, and a very talented fellow with a wealth of campaign experience. That's why he went to work for the Trump campaign in their New York office. He was hauled before this committee for no good reason whatsoever, not on the basis of some probable cause or some email that linked him in any way to Russian collusion. But that did not mean that Mr. Caputo did not need to hire a lawyer, did not need to travel to Washington, and most disgustingly did have to put up with the threats at his home and place of business from left-wing nut jobs all over Western New York. Mr. Caputo's testimony took roughly 3.5 hours, of which I'm told more than 2 hours were about one Roger J. Stone, Jr. At the same time, the House Intelligence Committee canceled my scheduled testimony for July 24th. Just to remind you, I am anxious to testify. I have not asked for immunity. I have not asked for I don't require a subpoena. I will come voluntarily. But I have repeatedly asked that my testimony be in public, something the Democrats on the committee just will not agree to. This seems to me to be elementary fairness. I have been maligned by Mr. Schiff, Ms. Spire, Mr. Swalwell, and other members of the committee who have made patently false and defamatory, in a normal circumstance, comments about me in public, having no qualms about that, but want to give me my opportunity to answer in private. This is inherently unfair. Nonetheless, with the agreement that we would release a transcript, I am willing to testify behind closed doors if that's what it takes to prove the point that there was no Russian collusion. When will I testify? Stand by.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.